I actually hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Bieber and Gomez broke up. Anime, 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 anime discussion.
All right, today I want to talk about something. I used the Bieber analogy thing to basically set up this segue to ask a question: can something negative actually make something more popular? I asked this question because I review Bleach, I review Naruto. I don't review One Piece, but I am starting to read it. I've just hit chapter 383 from the volume that I ordered, so I'm reading it. I'm probably not going to review it still, but I am reading it. And out of those three that I've read, I've noticed a recurring theme in all three of them, and I just wanted to just point some stuff out. What main characters in those series, if they were to die, would that make the series more popular or would it be received negatively, even if the death was done in a right way? In the case of One Piece, I think when Ace died, I think that threw everybody for a loop, but because it was done in the right way, I think it was well received, and I think that show gained some type of momentum because Oda killed an important character. As for any of the Straw Hats dying, that is very, very unlikely. But my favorite character so far is actually Zoro. If he was to die, even if it was a good way, I'm trying to think how would I react. And I came to the conclusion that if Oda was to kill Zoro, that would mean that the lives of all the Straw Hats, to me personally, that means all of their lives will be expendable. That if Zoro died, then all of them can die. But at the same time, I think that would make for great character development between the Straw Hats, because they would want to strengthen the bonds that they had with each other again, and they would really pursue their goals heavily because they just lost one of their comrades. In the case of Naruto, especially now because they're in the war arc thing, nobody has died, and that's kind of making like this much sense. But the one death that did occur, I think that kind of rocked everybody, was Jiraiya. Well, it didn't rock everybody because I'm pretty sure everybody knew it was going to happen. He infiltrated the village, it was just him. But his death was done, great. It was done in a great way because he was still able to help out the village before he died. Eventually, we all know this, eventually Obito and Madara are going to die. You know that. But at the same time, neither of those characters, in my opinion, neither of those characters are what I would consider main characters. They are, the main antagonists, but they're not main characters. I don't think right now if Obito was to die, especially with Toby being Obito, no one would care. I think people are more interested in Madara's power and shit, but he's already dead, so whatever. Sasuke. This character, he's been with us from the beginning, and he's an antagonist now. I don't know what they're doing with his character because it looked like he's gonna be redeemed and all that shit. But if he was to die, if Sasuke was to die, how would you receive that? Because I personally would think that would be the greatest thing that Kishimoto has done in his manga. Personally, that's just what I personally believe. How do you perceive major character deaths in anything that you view? let's take for example Supernatural. Now, Supernatural has killed many characters that we have all just gotten used to, and each time I was almost like, what the fuck? But recently, I don't mean to spoil this for anybody, so you don't know that, just click off. But recently, Bobby is a character that was killed off, and that one, I was just like, I'm not too tough rocking with this because everybody else close to them is dead. I didn't like that. I didn't like Bobby's death. Everyone else who was close to them is already gone, and I didn't like, that Bobby had died. I mean, if he was gonna die in the last season, which I think they said it's gonna be season 8, fine, but he didn't. He died in season 7, so that's why I'm just kind of like, I didn't like that. I didn't perceive that well, but that show has seen an increase in popularity due to Bobby's death, just like the show that the next series that I'm getting ready to talk about, at one point received an increase because of the perceived death of a character. Biapia Kuchki was supposed to have been dead, and this particular arc or whatever has seen a significant increase. But with that perceived death, the popularity of Bleach skyrocketed because it is rare. It is really rare for a manga artist to just kill off any top 10 pole character, and it was perceived that that's what he had done, and I liked it. That I was a big fan of that. I thought it was ballsy on Kubo's part, but at the same time it opened up development for Rukia and for Renji. So I was all aboard on that. I was like, okay, he killed them. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be some sad people out there, but it's good plot development for a character, for those two characters. That was just awesome to do. But it turns out that he's not dead. So that kind of bumped everyone out. And the death of Yamamoto. The death of Yamamoto was always had been speculated. But I think the obliteration of Yamamoto pushed Bleach slightly up. He was an old man anyway, and he wasn't a top 10 character. But Byakuya's perceived death actually made the popularity of that show go up. So, any other anime or series that I've watched or manga that I've read where some of the main characters die, a few of them worked and a few of them didn't. Examples of it working are Death Note and L. That worked, but when they brought Nier, it took away from that death. Just like with Naruto, with Obito's perceived death, with his perceived death in the past, I think him being Toby, it just fucks up his whole character. Because everything that he stood for, everything that Kakashi's standing for right now, everything Kakashi taught to Naruto and all them about, teamwork and all that shit, it's a good lesson, but the motherfucker that taught it to you was a twisted asshole, basically. Another series where I think the deaths worked was Code Geass. Now, I'm not talking about Lelouch, because his death is ambiguous. Some people say he's alive, some people say he's dead. Doesn't matter. But Euphemia and Shirley, those two deaths, they were actually main characters or supporting main characters, but their deaths worked. Especially Yuffie's. When Yuffie died, it was that really was a plot development line for both Suzaku and Lelouch. In Suzaku's case, he just grew to severely hate Zero, and he wanted to just really change, the whole world and just make it so that it was like, a melting pot of just everybody was together. And Lelouch, it strengthened his plan to just break down Britannia and just make a perfect world for his sister. But at the same time, it also showed him that the power that he had always been seeking can sometimes fuck you up, because he ended up having to kill his own sister because of the overuse of that power. And he actually came up with the Zero Requiem, which was the plan in the last episode to just erase her name from existence because of the Japanese massacre. So in that aspect, those two deaths to me were done well, and I don't know how people perceive those deaths, but I think those are two of the more talked about things in that series. I'm not gonna really count Rolo because Rolo was a supporting character only for like season 2, but everything, like, even though Euphemia was, I think she was in 6 or 7 episodes, everything she did, like, up until the last episode was talked about. So she was a supporting character in life and in death. Shirley was in the first season and in the second season. So that's why I put those there instead of Rolo. So basically, I just want to know whether or not you guys think that killing off main characters can make the series more popular, or will it make the series decline in popularity? Me personally, I think it's a good move on the part of the manga artist, especially if it's done well. If the manga artist knows that this scenario cannot be done well, don't attempt it. But I think if it's done well, then it can really make the series increase in popularity, because I think killing off main characters shows that anything is possible. Anything is in the realm of possibility within this storyline. So don't get used to just seeing the same shit. So that's why I think that it's going to work. Let me guys know what you think, if it works, if it doesn't work. And also let me know a series in which it worked or it didn't work. Let me know the character, because you guys may have seen some stuff that I haven't seen. So let me know the character. Let me know the series. If you guys want me to do some discussion topics on anything, you can just drop it down below or whatever. I'll talk about anything, so it really doesn't matter to me. You don't even have to be anime related. I'll talk about my favorite food. I'll upload a video of my favorite food, and I will say that you asked that question. I will talk about college football. Alabama lost to Texas A&M. I will talk about NFL football. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. The Falcons just lost their first game. I'm not a Falcons fan, but you know, that's a topic. So anything that you guys want to talk about, just drop it down below. But mainly, let me know of a series in which the main character or some of the main characters were killed off, and it either worked or it didn't work. And do you think it increases popularity or decreases popularity? Thanks for watching, guys. You could give me a thumbs up or whatever, and I will see you guys next time.